Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to show you how to design a beautiful homepage in just minutes using Nextr and the Gutenberg default WordPress block editor. So you don't need any page builders, you don't need Elementor or any starter sites like that you get from Blocksy, Astra, or some other theme that has some pre-built options. We're going to talk about some Nextr blocks and the block editor, if you aren't familiar with that yet. We're going to walk you through how to customize text, images, colors using the blocks, and we're going to add a call to action, a hero section, and an about section just using the blocks that come with Nextr and the Gutenberg block editor. Alright, so sometimes the reason why you wouldn't want to use a starter site is that, or starter template, is that there's just too much stuff on there for you to have to delete or replace the images with, and you don't really need all of those all at once, right? In a previous video, we showed you how to set up the WordPress Nextr theme, and we showed the differences between just adding a page. And as you can see here, we have just one home page, and if we view this, well, that's what it comes out as, but if we were to open it in the block editor and to edit it, you will find that we have nothing on here except for just one piece of text to tell us that something isn't rendering. And for Nextr, it comes, well, one of its key features is the theme builder. And, well, yes. And if we scroll down here to Nextr and Nextr extension and click on theme builder, you will see that we have a whole bunch of different options as to things that we've already made. So we have an About Us page, we have a home page here, and let's go ahead and go over to Single, and you can see, and we can go back to our home page, right? And because this one is enabled, it displays this. And if we clicked on Edit on this About Us one, this is what we are going to be faced with. Just this page. And notice the difference between this and the live site is that we have our heading, well, header and footer down here. And we scroll down here, we don't have any of those. That's because our headers and footers are also based within the theme builder. So if we went back to Single and disabled this, okay, and reloaded it, you'll see that we get the test input, which is the default one from the page from earlier. Now, if I were to enable this other one, okay, and reloaded the site, you'll see that we have something completely different showing up now. Okay, so let's re-enable this About Us one, and you can see that just like that, we can switch between pages. And that's something to keep in mind, that while you can make a single page here and set it as your home page, Nextr allows you to change things on the fly, make templates, and just enable or disable and just change what you need, and you can organize it a bit better. Now, let's go ahead and enter this topic of making an actual homepage. So this About Us page with a single image is just a placeholder, right? We want to have something that's useful. We want to show our users that, wow, I'll log on. What are we looking at on this website? Okay, so let's go ahead and add a new template. Okay, let's select singular, and let's call this Professional Homepage. Click on Next, and we're going to click on Preview Type Front Page. Okay, click on Create, and now we're going to end up in the block editor. Okay, so for those that aren't familiar, if you've made it this far but still don't know how this works, we're going to go from right to left. We have our 3 buttons here. These are some advanced settings that if you know what you're doing, just go ahead and change the view in the plugins, and some other preferences. It's our publish button to save it and to make it go live. These are our Nextr presets. Right, you can see we have different font sizes there. We can add presets, we can save presets. Over here, we can also change the container width. We have our sidebar toggle over here, settings, and you can see this is for our template over here, or page if we were editing that, and this block one will come up with a bunch of settings to edit and configure later on. And here we have conditions, right? If we didn't want to set this as our home page, we can select it as something else, right? We've already configured that, so this should be fine. And here we have our title, which we already changed earlier, and we have our paste options here. We have our outline, a list viewer outline, and you'll see this will come in handy later on, our undo and redo buttons. Here's our title, here's our workspace. If I type something, it automatically turns into a paragraph block, and you can see that we have settings over here, so you can change the size, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Last but not least, we have the block inserter, and you can see that we have a bunch of Nextr blocks. Okay, so these are the fundamentals. So if I wanted to put a heading here, so drag and drop that, I can type in here okay, and I can go ahead and click on publish, right? And once I reload the site, this is what's going to greet us. Okay, and here we have our settings, right? Layout, we can change the tag, we can change the alignment, we can add a link to it, we can change the style, change the color, in fact, typography, change the text stroke, right? Change it to a different font size. But again, we've set it to H1. So let's go ahead and click on save, and let's reload the site. And here we are. It probably just didn't reload because here on the block editor, things don't update so much on the back end so much as they do on the front end. So really, it's best to save and then double check on your live site. Okay, so now we have that. But ever been on a website and you get a banner greeting you, and there's some little text and a button on the side here like learn more, read more, or like enter the shop, and then there's like some text and promotions and whatnot? Let's go and learn how to make that. So those are our blocks. We can add and drag and drop these, right? There's a few different ones that we can choose from, right? As you can see. But for right now, let's start off real simple and show you what I mean by the little sections. So we're going to make a call to action hero section and a little about us section, and then maybe add some other things to populate the site to make it look a bit better. And you can see these are all the Nextr blocks. Okay, and one thing to keep in mind, the stuff that we're going to make here actually comes with as blocks with Nextr Pro, Nextr Premium. So whatever we're going to make here, we can just drag and drop it and then edit it from there. But that's not going to stop us, like having Nextr Free isn't going to stop us from actually making it from scratch. And that's going to take some time, but again, we're here to learn, right? And you can see over here we have a bunch of the default WordPress ones. Let's not worry about those, and let's just focus on the Nextr ones because they give us more options. And as an example, let's go ahead and put in some... Again, let's put in a heading here, and then let's put a heading here. And you can see this one is the default WordPress one, and we see we only have so many options. Okay, and you click on here, and we have all these options, and that's one of the benefits of using a third-party theme and block library such as Nextr. Okay, and there was something here a while ago, right, that we couldn't click on, and we can delete it from here. Okay, okay, so let's show you something really cool. We have banners here, right? We can just drag and drop those into our workspace, and let's open up our settings. Again, we have these options here, but it's very limiting, right? And we also have our call to action. Let's say this one I like using as an example because it looks really cool. So, right, so like welcome to Website Assets. This is our tutorial. And basically all of these are just a bunch of containers and paragraphs, and this one's a button, you can see. And let's go ahead and make our own. So this is full width banner with an image. There's another image over here. Let's go ahead and delete all of these and insert our own from Nexter. Okay, so let's start off by importing a container here, right? And let's choose this one. And now let's add an image. Right, just go ahead and search for image. Okay, let's insert an image, something from our library. Again, you can upload your own by selecting files on your computer, but since we already uploaded stuff onto here, we'll just be using these default ones. Okay, and then we can center this up over here. But since this isn't working, let's go to our container and let's make it full width. And let's center it up. Okay, there we are. And that's fine. Let's go ahead and click on save and see how this looks like so far. Okay, so there's our banner. All right. Let's go ahead and add some buttons and a call to action and things like that. So let's go ahead and put another container down here, right? And we're going to use Flexbox. And let's use these two over here. And let's put a heading onto here. And let's put a button over here. Okay, real nice, real simple. And we can go over back here to the container, to the inner containers, and we can change our width, and they're going to automatically adjust, right? We're going to center him up over here. Okay, and then for the button itself, let's align it to the middle. Okay, now let's get started with all of this. Okay, so first off with this, let's go ahead and change the background color to something else, maybe this gradient. All right, something a bit lighter. All right, and then let's make this a bit darker. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. Now let's do it for this container, right? Let's make this background color, let's make it gray. All right, just so we can see the delineation between the elements that we have here. And now let's put in welcome to website assets. All right, we'll center that up. We'll change our tags here, right? Heading 1. We can add a link here if we wanted to. But let's go ahead and change our typography to something else. How's this one going to look like? Well, sometimes, again, it doesn't preview unless you save and then take a look at the font. Okay, that should be fine. Or we can reload this after saving. It's going to tell you that you probably should save, like exit without changes, right? And here we have it waiting to load. Okay, that hasn't changed yet. Let's go ahead and stick with this and change the typography to, oops, I need to change it here. Okay, change our typography to, all right, and then make it a bit bigger. Probably best to use % here or rem. Okay, 100% or probably EM, set it to that, right? And this is going to grow proportional, by the way. And that's looking good. We can underline this, change the line height, right? And you can see that the container automatically adjusts. And change the letter spacing. And we can change text stroke over here if we wanted to. Let's not mess with that. We can add a shadow too if you wanted. All right, make it look a bit more interesting, make it stand out a bit more. Okay. And that's pretty much it. We can change the spacing, the background, the border. So if we wanted to adjust this manually, we can add a margin. Let's say, let's unlink this. Let's add a margin to the right of 50 pixels, and you can see it moves over there. So let's keep it centered up, keep it clean. And now let's configure the button. So here we have the button. Enter site. And we can have this here, there's an arrow, right? Or we can have an icon. Okay, so if you didn't want to do that, something really cool is we have an icon here, and then we have the position, and you can select the icon here, search arrow, and let's select this one. Okay, and we can change the icon spacing. And yeah, that looks great. And then we can add the link over here. We can put this as our blog, so we can search here web /blog, right? And it's going to take us to the blog. But let's keep that blank for now, since it's really up to you where you want this button to go, but you'll put the link over there. And let's go ahead and change style. Or, you know what, let's go ahead and turn this into a subscribe button. And let's change the typography to something else. Okay, let's look for a random cool font. And let's change this to EM again, just so it grows proportionally. Okay, we can make it all caps if we wanted to. Make it bold too, but I don't think that font supports it. Line height, letter spacing, we can afford to make it a bit wider. Okay, let's change the background color to YouTube red. Okay, and we can add a border radius to this, maybe 15 pixels. Okay, that's looking great. We can also add a shadow and then change the padding. You can also change the icon size. But as you can see, it squishes our text over here. And again, you're going to adjust this with your text spacing, your font size, and then the width, right? Okay. And for style, we can change the background color when we hover to something else. Oh no, I mean here, sorry. Text, typography. Oh wait, no, that's unhover. Okay, there you go. Unhover, we're gonna change the color to something else. Oh, there we go. Background color to blue. There you go. And probably green. Probably indicate it a bit better. Or yellow. Yeah, just so it's highlighted. And you can see, and then let's go ahead and change our text color to black. Okay, and that looks very functional. And we can even, yeah, that's fine. And now let's go ahead and click on save and reload our site. And see, now we have our hero area here with our banner. And again, you might probably want to use a wider image for this. Right, welcome to website assets. Here's the subscribe button. And if we wanted to, we can disable or change up our header and footer, but there's another video for that. Now let's go ahead and add a simple About Us area. And we could use some other elements, but let's start off with just a simple heading over here. And let's say About Us. And let's change this to a different style. Okay, and then let's add a, what's it called? A paragraph? Paragraph. And we can even add a separator over here. And it doesn't matter if we use this default WordPress one. Change the color to something else. Or actually, no, I'm not a big fan of the WordPress one. Let's go ahead and use spacer. It's called a spacer. And let's add this here. And let's delete this WordPress one. Let's mess with the spacer. And type. Change the height over here. Style. Okay. Yeah, okay, that works. And then now we can make the paragraph. It's not from scratch. And there's some presets here that we can get, but let's just worry about this real quick. So it's going to have its own title. All right, let's close this. And you can see title. We can disable the title if we wanted to separate it. So this is perfectly fine. And now we can edit the paragraph. So we are a right, and then we can change up our spacing here. We can add columns, column gaps. We can make it, we can add a drop cap over there. We can change what the text is. And then once we go over in style, we can change the font size. Let's make it a bit bigger. Okay. And that's basically it for this. Now, if we wanted to add some further options, let's go ahead and add something really cool that you might want to use for your homepage is this, let's see if we can find a team member block, and we can design this from scratch, right? And we can add a bunch, and these are for pro users only, unfortunately, and you can add a bunch here, right? And let's go ahead and configure each and every one. So team member block, content source here. Let's insert an image. We have a few different to choose from. Oops. And over here, let's choose another one. Okay. Oops. And then over here, another one. And then over here, oops, just muscle memory for these. And then here, another one. Okay, now we can mess with the columns, how many columns to show, content layout, and really all you're going to have to do is just click on all of these and customize it with whichever way you want. So again, we have, once we go back to layout, we have content source. We can change all of these people's names, right? Right? We can change all of these ones to, let's say, boss, right? And we can have their email links, right? So we can we have and then we have some options over here, right? And he's going to give a link to that. And then you can see it automatically puts those in. So that's something that's really cool. And we can also add filters to the to these. But again, that's a pro feature among other things. But they're not necessary to building your homepage. So let's go ahead and click on Save and then see what we have as a result. So let's reload this. Okay, just the same for the top. So let's say we're a brand new user. We've just dropped into our website. Okay, so here's our brand. Here's a striking banner image like, whoa, this is where Website Assets makes their tutorials, right? Oh yeah, this is website assets. Okay, I'll go and subscribe. Or if this was an enter website, or like learn tutorials, like learn more, right? View shop, like enter the shop kind of thing. About us, like, okay, like basic information, like, oh, so this is what website assets does. And you scroll down here, it's like, oh, these are the team members of website assets. And that's very compelling, and you've seen how easy it is to just use Nexter's blocks, right? And there's a lot to choose from even in the free version. And similarly, just with the integrated default WordPress Gutenberg editor, we've been able to lay all of these out. So let's say I wanted to move our team members, right, 1 or 2 spaces up. You can see we've changed it here, right? And we can just drag and drop these, right? And then the spacer, we can probably make it a bit more, right? Let's go and click on save. And you can see once we reload our site, the team members appear before our About Us area. So there you go. It's a real easy way to make a professional homepage. While this might not seem too professional, hopefully it gives you an understanding for the fundamentals of what goes into making a usable and eye-catching and striking starter or professional homepage for your brand's website. So you don't need to rely on the patterns. You can just make them yourself using containers, the flex boxes, and all of the blocks that comes with WordPress. So there you have it, a professional website and the building blocks to use it, to make it. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you want to know where to get the blocks that we used in this video to make forms real simple, real easy, check out the link in the description. It'll take you to the website of Nexter, where you can get the Nexter blocks yourself. Now, if you check out the pricing, they have 3 different levels: starter, professional, and studio. We recommend getting the studio one because it's a one-time payment. It's lifetime. You get all the blocks. You don't have to worry about not having the right blocks to get what you need done. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of our other videos, or go ahead and check out our channel and subscribe to see more content like this.